Hello, friends. How are you doing? Well, this is my blog on the 28th of January 2025. And basically, the purpose of this blog is to highlight what's happening in Pakistan. Yes, many things are happening in Pakistan, and many people have asked me what's happening in Pakistan these days. So, I will start the blog with one thing from the past which will really surprise you. Do you know, guys, that in 1996 the value of Pakistan currency was 20% higher than India? That means in 1996 120 Indian rupees was equivalent to 100 Pakistani rupees. And what is the value of the Pakistan rupee in 2025 right now? You will be really shocked. The Pakistani rupee is at 277, 278, while the Indian rupee is at 85, 86. What used to be 20% stronger is now more than 300% weaker. Now, today, 3 rupees and 30 paisa or 330 rupees is equal to 100 Indian rupees. Just 3 or 4 years back, the Pakistan rupee was at 160 and today it is at 277, 278. These guys have really screwed, you understand. I don't want to use swear words, but I am really feeling ashamed of whoever has ruled Pakistan in these last 3 to 5 years, and basically in the last 20, 30 years. Pakistan, the situation of Pakistan, the blame is entirely on the politicians and the establishment. They have destroyed the country. They are responsible from the president of state of affairs. They have moved their corruption money out of the country and they have made billions. Their wealth is lying in Dubai, in UK, USA, and out of Pakistan. So, what is the situation of Pakistan right now? Well, at present, today, there is very high inflation, there is almost no growth, the industry is suffering, the electricity rates are at their peak, around 72 rupees per unit. How can anybody survive? How can a household afford electricity at 72 rupees, and how can an industry survive? At present in Pakistan, there is total violation of human rights. There is absolutely no freedom of speech. If you speak anything against the government or the hybrid regime or the establishment, there are chances that you might be in deep trouble and you might have to face the consequences. So, no human rights, no freedom of expression. The judiciary has become a tout. They are playing in the hands of the powerful. And you, as you know, that the elections, there was a regime change in Pakistan about 1.5 years back. A democratically elected government was toppled. They say that it was because of the USA pressure or the cipher or whatever. But it was orchestrated by the Pakistan internally, right? So a democratically elected government was toppled. And you also know that the last elections, which were in I think February 6th, 2024, the elections were totally rigged. PTI was definitely the single largest party who could have formed the government, but the votes were rigged, and even the judiciary was turning a blind eye to everything that happened in this country. So at present, there is nothing like a judiciary. They are totally under the influence of the rich and the powerful, the politicians and the establishment. So the present situation in Pakistan is really, really very bad. No rule of law, no accountability, no justice, and there is no right of vote. And people who were supposed to be in power, the PTI government, most of the leaders are behind bars. There is gross violation of human rights. The biggest leaders, they are behind bars and they cannot come out because there are hundreds of cases against them, all fabricated cases. Where do we go from here? I really don't know. But the people, they are afraid. They are afraid to come out and fight for the rights. They are just trying to survive. Their lives have become miserable. They are finding it difficult to make their ends meet. And somebody in my the last blog commented, "Okay, if situation is so bad in Pakistan, why is the stock market at the all-time high?" Well, I have been trading in the stock market for over a decade now. Last 7 years have been really bad for the stock market, and the stock market had touched the high because of being included in the MSCI and all that thing, and then it started falling for 7 consecutive years. And people like me who were trading in the stock market, the value of the money had gone down to 50%. Then there were rumors of default. People were saying that anytime Pakistan might default, and they were predicting that the rupee would fall drastically. And at a time, the rupee had fallen to above 300. 300, 310, people were just buying gold and foreign currencies to protect themselves. So the situation was so bad. People were also predicting that there would be haircut. Your money would be depreciated by 20%, 30%. And people were taking their money out from banks, from other mutual funds, from treasury bills. The value of the bonds and everything had fallen drastically. So what suddenly happened that in 1 year after that, the stock market hit the peak? You can very well understand what happened. It is nothing but speculation. Do you know that there are only 5 lakh investors in Pakistan in the stock market? And out of that 5 lakh, only 3-4 lakh are trading actively. So now 3-4 lakh investors, they have taken hostage the stock market. It's the matter of just 1 year or 1.5 years when the stock market has jumped more than 50%. And who are the beneficiaries? Very few people. And what was the news? Nobody knows. The small investor has been wiped out. they had to liquidate their and sell their stocks because the stock market was falling like nothing. There were rumors of sanctions and the rumors of default and whatnot. So most of the small investors who were dependent on this income, dividend income or profit from stock market, they had pulled their money out. Who wants that their money would erode from 50% even further? So investors like me were in a panic. We pulled out our money because of the uncertainty. And what ultimately happened, you can see what happened to the stock market in the last 1 year. The stock market from 60,000 points has gone up to 110,000, 115,000, sorry, 1,15,000. And nobody really knows what the reason behind it. Who is gaining from it, nobody knows. But it is definitely a very small community which is driving it up. And where do they want to take it? I really don't know. We are just hoping that things in Pakistan would get better. But better for whom? The rich are getting richer. The corrupt politicians, the establishment, the bureaucrats, the government servants are having a fantastic time. They are having a ballroom. Why? Because their salaries have been increased by 10 times. A person who was drawing a salary of 1 lakh is now 10 lakh. Every day we hear in the news that the income of the politicians, the bureaucrat, the government servant is rising. So they are having a good time. The speculators, the property agents, they are doing pretty good. So the rich are getting richer. But who is facing the brunt? The middle class. Life has not become very tough for the poor class because they are managing somehow. Their standard of living was already low, and they are actually daily earners, and they have been working like a plumber, electrician, or mason, or whatever, and their daily income has gone up actually. Yes, they are having difficulty in fighting the inflation, but they are making their ends meet. But the middle class, the salaried class, taxes have gone up, inflation has gone up, the value of their money, the value of their salaries has drastically fallen. Electricity bills are too high. What electricity bills were 10,000, 15,000 are now 40,000, 50,000. So how can a middle class person survive? The maintenance which I was paying to my building for the facilities they are giving, in 1 year, they have gone up from 11,000 to 18,000. So I am facing the brunt. And the interest rates have come down drastically from 21% to 10%. Now the inflation, which was 38%, then again 15%, then again 10%. So in 2 or 3 years, the inflation was 50% up. And the interest rates have come down from 21% to 10%. Now how can I fight inflation with 10% interest and inflation at 50%? Just imagine if there was a product of 100 rupees, now its value is 150. So when interest rates were rising from 100 to 120, at that time still the product was at 150. Now my income is 110 or even below, and the prices are at 150. How do I fight this inflation? So guys, to sum up, the situation right now in Pakistan is really bad from the point of view of inflation, from the point of view of freedom, human rights. The rich are getting richer, they have everything in their hands, the powerful are enjoying their lives, they are doing what they want. There is violation of constitution, there is absence of judiciary and justice. We are hoping that better sense prevails. Countries like USA intervenes in the way, not in the internal matters, but for human rights. They restore the rule of law and the right of the vote. Elections in Pakistan are held again, and the person who really wins by a free and fair election is put back into power, and the right and the rule of law prevails, the right of the common man prevails. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this vlog and you got a proper idea of what is happening in Pakistan right now. I will also share with you what my life in Pakistan is. If I compare what would my life have been if I was in India as a Muslim, I would like to share, because whatever I have told you today, you might be getting an impression that I am suffering in Pakistan, and I would have been much better if I was in India. I will make a blog on that too, because I don't want to say everything bad about my country. Yes, things are bad, and I have to admit it. I don't want to lie about the present situation, but I also don't want to lie about the situation I would have been in India if I was there right now. Guys, please subscribe. Please press the bell icon so that I get the incentive to share another blog with you on what's happening around in Pakistan and around the world. Thank you.